The story begins high in the sky. It is thousands of kilometers above us in a mysterious world. Reaching that place usually means inviting death, yet some soldiers risk their lives and arrive there. But the very next moment, the most dangerous and enormous giant of that world appears in front of them. Jack senses its presence and immediately dips his head into the water to hide. Right then, a massive foot appears right in front of him. Seeing it, the nearby sheep start running in fear. The giant grabs one sheep and swallows it alive. Jack becomes terrified after watching this horrible scene. Meanwhile, a soldier hiding behind a tree turns around to look at the giant. But the giant sniffs the air and detects him. The frightened soldier quickly hides behind the tree again. The giant takes huge steps toward him. The soldier stands there, holding his breath, but he cannot control himself any longer. He suddenly starts running, but it is already too late. The giant notices him. Without wasting any time, the giant rips the entire tree out from the roots. The soldier runs to save his life. His small legs are no match for the giant long strides. The giant swings its foot and knocks him unconscious with one blow. Seeing a human, for the first time the giant bends down and examines him carefully. Just as it is about to pick him up, the captain runs forward with his sword. He puts all his strength into driving the sword into the giant heel. The giant twists in pain and turns around. But the next moment it kicks the captain away with a light blow. Then it pulls the sword out of its own foot. It picks up the two soldiers to eat them. Jack stands at a distance and watches everything. At that exact moment, he realizes what a huge mistake he made by coming here. Actually, sometime earlier, Jack had received some magic beans with the help of a monk. But when his girlfriend, who is a princess, comes to meet him, one of those beans touches water and starts growing extremely fast. Suddenly, the whole wooden house begins to shake violently. Strange sounds come from below. Both of them are too scared to move. Right then, the ground suddenly splits open. A giant beanstalk bursts through the house and shoots upward into the sky. Seeing this, the princess tries to run away immediately, but a table falls on her. Jack moves forward to save her. The vines push him and throw him out of the house. At that moment, a wooden door suddenly opens. The princess sees a way out, but as she tries to escape, the beanstalk slams the door shut. The princess struggles to open the door, but it does not move at all. Seeing this, Jack picks up an axe to cut the vines. But suddenly, the entire house is lifted upward by its roots. At the last second, Jack jumps and grabs a corner. The beanstalk grows so fast that within a few seconds, the house reaches thousands of meters high. Jack swings the axe with all his strength to cut the stalk. As soon as it cuts, the princess opens the door. But the very next moment, the floor beneath her feet breaks. Even though Jack holds her hand, she starts falling from 10,000 meters high. Jack slides down the magic beanstalk toward the ground. The vines slow his speed a little on the way. Finally, he hits the ground and loses consciousness. But the princess is not so lucky. The beanstalk carries her to the far end of the sky. The next morning, Jack wakes up in panic. He sees the king standing in front of him. The king is looking for the princess. Jack becomes shocked. He has no choice but to tell the king the whole story. When Jack points toward the sky, everyone sees a giant beanstalk piercing the clouds and going upward. As soon as the king learns the truth, he wastes no time and sends Jack, along with a group of soldiers, to rescue the princess. Very quickly, everyone climbs the beanstalk and reaches above the clouds. Then the captain moves forward and starts sliding from one side to the other. That was the only way to reach the princess. Jack has no choice but to remove his belt and prepare himself. But just as he is about to move forward, the curly-haired man standing beside him kicks him hard and pushes him ahead. Seeing such height, Jack feels sick. While sliding in the middle, his hand slips and he starts falling straight down. Fortunately, the vines catch him midway. As soon as he regains consciousness, he continues climbing upward without stopping. The weather turns completely bad as they reach the top. Strong storms and lightning flash everywhere. Suddenly, a powerful lightning bolt strikes one soldier directly. He slips, and the other soldiers collide with him and start falling. At the last moment, one soldier grabs the rope tightly. That saves the lives of the remaining men. But the soldiers who fell are now hanging in the air. If they are not pulled up soon, the whole team will be in danger. Then Redrick tells the man standing next to him to cut the rope. The man likes the idea. He immediately takes out a knife hidden in his boot. The hanging soldiers beg him not to do it, but he shows no mercy and cuts the rope. The hanging soldiers fall from 10,000 feet. The remaining soldiers finally reach the top, and by then morning has arrived. When Jack turns around, he becomes completely amazed. There is a massive world above the clouds. Seeing this sight, everyone starts moving in that direction. Then the captain notices fresh footprints on the ground. He realizes the princess did not come down, but is somewhere here. When everyone comes out of the cave, the captain is stunned by the view in front. This world is much bigger than they imagined. Everyone moves forward and checks the area. Then their eyes fall on tree branches. They find some signs left by the princess. At that time, Jack also finds the book he had given her on the ground. Then they notice some broken branches. From this, they understand that some dangerous creature has taken the princess. After that, everyone splits into two teams and starts searching for the princess in different directions. On the way, Jack and his companions reach a river. There they see a herd of fat sheep. Being hungry for many days, they think of cooking one sheep, but as soon as they try to catch it, they accidentally trigger a nearby trap. Jack immediately takes out his knife and starts cutting the trap with full strength. The captain is also trying to cut the rope. Then his eyes fall on something strange. All the crows nearby suddenly fly away in fear, and all the sheep start running in the other direction together. The captain feels something is wrong, but he continues cutting the rope. Somehow, the two of them escape the trap. But then a terrifying roar comes from the jungle. At that exact moment, a huge giant appears in front of them and takes two soldiers away. Jack quietly starts following the giant from behind so that when the right opportunity comes, he can rescue his companions and the princess too. On the other side, Redrick reaches the edge of a cliff with two soldiers. The bald man thinks searching like this is completely useless. He starts moving forward to find another way. But then Redrick makes his move. He says, "Look, there is Isabel." As the bald man turns around and comes near the cliff, Redrick takes advantage and pushes him straight into the deep abyss. Seeing this, Redrick's friend starts laughing loudly. Suddenly, a huge hand grabs him. At that moment, another giant as big as a mountain comes in front of him from behind. Redrick falls to the ground in fear and quickly starts searching for something in his bag. As the giant reaches out to grab him, Redrick pulls out a shiny crown. Seeing the crown, the giants stop immediately. It is as if some invisible force has frozen them. Actually, it was a magic crown. Whoever holds this powerful crown, the giants are forced to obey every word. Meanwhile, Jack follows the giant and reaches its lair. He is amazed by the view there. Beautiful waterfalls and tall mountains are all around. It feels no less than paradise. There, a two-headed giant has locked the princess in a cage. Then it takes her to the other giants. All the giants gather and stare at her. Then the giant that had caught the captain and the fat soldier also returns. It throws both of them near the cage. Seeing this, the two-headed giant suspects that there may be more humans here. So it grabs the fat soldier lying on the ground, breaks his neck, and swallows him alive. Then it spits out his armor, as the giant threatens the captain, saying, "It will eat the princess too." A sound comes from the side that draws everyone's attention. Actually, that sound belongs to the traitor Redrick. Seeing the crown on his head, all the other giants immediately kneel down. At that moment, his real plan becomes clear to everyone. He walks straight to the two-headed giant and orders it to kneel. Seeing the crown on his head, the two-headed giant has no choice but to bow. Then Redrick puts his foot on its face and slowly walks toward the throne. From that moment, Redrick becomes the new king of the giants' world. He declares that he will attack the humans and conquer the whole world. The giant army becomes very happy hearing his words. But the two-headed giant has something else in mind. Meanwhile, the giant picks up the captain to cook him and throws him directly onto sticky dough. The more he struggles, the more he gets stuck in it. Then the giant comes forward and sprinkles flour over the captain with its fist. After that, the giant does something very disgusting. It rolls the captain and sets him aside. After everything is ready, only the vegetables are left. As it goes to get the vegetables, Jack sneaks in. The princess becomes very happy seeing Jack, but she immediately signals him to stay quiet. The giant is still busy there, and in that moment Jack slowly reaches the princess. He tries to open the cage lock, but it is not possible for him alone. Then the princess first tells him to save the captain who is lined up with the pigs. Jack reaches him immediately and takes out his knife to free him from the sticky dough. Right then, the giant starts coming back with the spices. Seeing this, Jack quickly hands the knife to the captain and hides himself. Luckily, the giant does not suspect anything. It picks up some sharp sticks and pokes the pig next to the captain in front of his eyes. The pig that was screaming becomes quiet immediately. Now the next number was the captain. The giant attacks without mercy, but its aim misses a little. Otherwise, the captain's future family line would have been finished. Seeing this, the captain faints in fear. Then the giant puts all of them into the burning oven nearby. Now only Jack is left to save them. At this time, Jack has reached the iron ring, and the giant has not noticed it yet. Then the giant picks up a sharp knife and moves straight toward the princess. Without delay, it puts its hand inside and pulls the princess out. It places her on the table and prepares to cut her. But then, Jack quietly picks up a heavy knife kept nearby. As the unaware giant is about to strike the princess, Jack drives the knife straight into its spine. The giant starts screaming loudly in pain, but Jack holds the knife very tightly. The giant loses control, crashes into the wall, and dies there. Seeing this, both the princess and the captain are amazed. After that, the three of them immediately go to the magic beanstalk. But a giant is already guarding it there, which Reca had sent. Then an unusual idea comes to Jack's mind. He takes a beehive and slowly approaches the giant with the captain. Then the captain lifts the giant helmet, and Jack puts the beehive inside it. The giant is still sleeping peacefully and has no idea what is about to happen to it. As soon as Jack places the hive inside, the captain closes the helmet immediately. Then both of them run quickly and hide behind a nearby hill to wait. Within a short time, the giant jumps up in pain from the bee stings and starts shaking its body. The more it struggles, the more the bees attack it. In panic, the giant starts running but slips and crashes into a rock. Then it rolls and reaches the edge of the cliff. It looks like it is about to fall. Suddenly, it removes its helmet. The three of them are startled for a moment. But then a bee flies straight toward it and stings it hard. The giant loses control and falls straight down. Seeing this, the three of them become overjoyed. They cannot believe they defeated such a big giant so easily. After that, the three of them decide to leave immediately. But suddenly, the captain stops while walking. He says he has to stop there to take the crown from Reca. So, Jack gives him a knife and starts descending with the princess. At that exact time, the giant crashes while falling along the beanstalk and finally lands below. Hearing the loud noise, the king immediately comes out of his tent and becomes frightened seeing this dangerous giant. Suddenly, the villagers also gather there. Then the king makes a big decision for the good of his people and to stop the giants from coming. He immediately orders the general to cut the beanstalk. The soldiers hammer huge iron nails into the big beanstalk. Then they attach strong hooks and start pulling it with the help of oxen and horses. Slowly, the huge beanstalk starts moving with its roots. But the soldiers standing nearby suddenly face danger. Then suddenly the thick middle vine also starts breaking. The soldiers standing above start falling, which creates chaos all around. Meanwhile, Jack and the princess are descending with the help of the beanstalk. But when they look down, they become frightened, because the beanstalk has now gone completely out of control and can fall at any moment. At that time, Jack seizes the opportunity, holds the princess tightly, and grabs a hanging branch. The two of them swing in the air and descend very quickly. Finally, when they fall, a pile of grass cushions their speed, and thus both reach the ground safely. At that exact moment, Reca gathers all the giants in one place and prepares to attack the humans. Then the two-headed giant smells humans, which makes the captain hide. Reca moves forward and takes out the magic beans that grow beanstalks. But suddenly the captain jumps on him, because of which the magic beans remain on the hill and Redrick falls straight into a hole below. Redrick starts calling the giants in fear. Meanwhile, the captain stands ready to fight him. Then the two-headed giant orders the other giants to pull him out. The giants start breaking the rocks and a fight begins between the captain and Redrick below. Redrick knocks down the captain with his long sword, and the captain weapon falls far away. Then he starts attacking one after another. But the captain somehow blocks his blows, and a contest of strength begins between them. Very quickly, the captain starts getting weaker, and Redrick drowns him in the water. Then suddenly, the captain notices the knife floating toward him. At the perfect time, the captain catches it with his teeth and immediately strikes Redrick in the face. This sudden attack makes Redrick rage explode. He pushes the captain back with the force of his weapon. The captain is forced to retreat and finally reaches the edge. Then Redrick kicks him hard and throws him down. But the captain somehow holds onto the rocks and hangs there. Redrick starts poking his hand with the sword so that he falls by himself. But he underestimated the captain's strength. As he attacks again, the captain grabs his weapon and drives it straight into his leg. Redrick screams loudly in pain, and taking advantage of this, the captain drives the sword into Redrick's stomach. Because of this sudden attack, Redrick breathes his last there. As soon as he dies, the magic power of the crown also ends. The captain somehow climbs up and moves forward to take back the crown, but then the cave above collapses, and the two-headed giant picks up the crown first. It puts the crown on its finger and declares itself the new king. As soon as it wears the crown, its power returns. Seeing this, the other giants also kneel down. Then the captain sees that the only beanstalk to descend to earth can break and fall at any moment. So without delay, he jumps straight onto the beanstalk. The beanstalk grows very fast toward the castle. The captain takes advantage of the right time and jumps straight into the water. When the two-headed giant sees that the way to the human world is broken, it roars in anger. Then suddenly, the small head points toward the bag lying on the ground which contained the magic beans. The two-headed giant picks it up and opens it in its hand. There were total 4 magic beans inside. Seeing this, it becomes overjoyed. It immediately blows and throws those beans into the water. As soon as the beans touch the water, they start sprouting. And the next moment, 4 huge beanstalks burst out of the ground. Then the two-headed giant gives a loud order, and all the giants climb those beanstalks and head toward the human world. At the last moment, the two-headed giant also jumps down. It slides down the beanstalk toward the ground. At that time, Jack was watering his horse. Suddenly, his eyes go toward the sky. He sees all the giants descending very fast. Without wasting a single moment, he mounts the horse and rides to alert the king. Meanwhile, the king army is moving comfortably toward the castle. Then Jack spots the army. He starts shouting loudly that the giants are coming, but the king still does not understand. Then suddenly many giants come out from the jungle behind and destroy everything wherever they go. No one can stop them. Very quickly, the giant army comes close, and they grab one soldier and swallow him alive. The people on horses also cannot survive their speed. At this time, humans feel completely helpless in front of them. Then a round-faced giant breaks the blades of a nearby windmill and throws them toward the princess, which shatters everything on the ground, and the king crown also falls down. Meanwhile, the soldiers on the castle walls see the king army coming and immediately send news inside to prepare for battle. The captain orders the soldiers to pour oil into the moat to stop the enemies. As soon as the king army reaches the castle, he gives the order to shoot arrows, and hundreds of burning arrows are thrown toward the enemies. As soon as the arrows touch, the oil fire spreads everywhere, and in that moment the king army safely enters the castle. Seeing the princess safe, the captain immediately orders to close the castle gate. But at that time, Jack was still outside, and the giants were chasing him. As the castle gate starts closing, Jack becomes panicked. But at the last moment, he jumps inside with his horse. Of course, the two-headed giant also reaches the gate right behind him. But then the captain attacks it, and it falls straight into the blazing flames. Very quickly, the fire completely surrounds it. But the surprising thing was that even its own people do not come to save it, but stand quietly and watch it burn. Meanwhile, the humans are still talking among themselves, when suddenly a large iron bell comes flying fast from the sky toward the castle. It breaks the wall and falls straight down. Before anyone can understand, a war drum starts beating. Then two large iron hooks are thrown toward the castle gate, which the giants start pulling very hard. Now a tug of war begins between humans and giants. Actually, all this was the plan of the round-faced giant, who calls more giants and orders them to break the castle gate. The atmosphere inside turns completely chaotic. The princess runs inside the castle with Jack. Meanwhile, the old king orders all the soldiers to use crossbows to stop the giants. Very quickly, more giants arrive, and they start pulling with full strength. Then on the captain, order the soldiers release many crossbows, which hit the wooden gate directly. With perfect aim, the soldiers immediately start pulling the crossbow carts backward. The castle army divides into different groups, and the king also comes to help. He is asking the captain about the giant's weakness, when suddenly a burning tree falls from the sky, which scatters the soldiers here and there. The next moment, many burning trees fall on the soldiers, which causes their grip to loosen. It looks like the gate will break very soon. Then the princess reaches inside the castle with Jack, but suddenly a loud roar, and the sound of the ground cracking draws their attention. Both of them step back in fear, and some stones fly upward. Suddenly, two huge hands come out from below. It was the two-headed giant, which had survived even after falling into the fire earlier. Because it was underwater, the fire could not damage it much, and it quietly entered the castle through the sewer. Suddenly, it senses the royal scent of the princess. Jack fearfully moves the blanket and sees that the giant has not noticed them yet. But then in anger, the giant breaks the glass nearby. The two hiding under the blanket start trembling in fear, but the giant sees them directly from above. Jack holds the princess with all his strength and starts running immediately. But the giant keeps chasing them continuously. With no way out, the two are forced to run toward the second floor. They do not dare to stop. But suddenly a hand comes out from the side and grabs the princess. Jack picks up the axe kept nearby and attacks it without delay. But the giant catches him with the other hand. The small's head starts playing with Jack. Then Jack gets angry and directly breaks its helmet with the axe. Enraged, the giant opens its big mouth. At that moment, Jack takes out the magic bean hidden in his locket and throws it straight into its mouth. The magic bean goes directly into its stomach, because of which the two-headed giant suddenly feels something wrong and immediately throws both of them to the ground. Then suddenly a beanstalk comes out from its body, and the two step back in fear. Suddenly many beanstalks burst out of its body at full speed, which completely destroys the hall. Suddenly, the hand wearing the king crown also falls near Jack. Meanwhile, the soldiers outside are still busy trying to stop the giants. But with one roar from the round-faced giant, all the giants slowly retreat and knock the soldiers down one by one. The castle gate slowly opens. The captain immediately tells the soldiers to close the iron door. At that exact moment, the round-faced giant slowly comes out of the mist with its companions. But the iron door cannot hold it for long, and it breaks the door with one jerk. Then that giant enters the castle with its companions. Seeing the tasty-looking soldiers standing there, they become very happy. As the giants are about to attack, suddenly a sound comes from behind, and all the giants' attention turns toward that sound. The giant looks carefully into the crowd and suddenly drops its weapon. Seeing this, the other giants also drop their weapons and kneel down in front of all the humans. The captain becomes completely amazed seeing this scene. Then Jack comes forward with the crown, gives the order to the giants to return to their world quickly. And at such a point, this whole movie ends here.